The film opens in a snow-covered neighborhood, where the Christmas spirit is palpable and families eagerly anticipate the festivities. However, amidst this warmth and excitement, Ashley cannot join in the holiday joy with her family. Instead, she is on her way to the home of a family who asked her to babysit their 12-year-old son, Luke, who has just experienced his first nocturnal emission. Luke has recounted this experience to his close friend Garrett, who has also had a similar experience. Luke harbors feelings for Ashley that go beyond the norm and confesses to Garrett that he will try to be intimate with her tonight. Garrett believes Luke is too young to be thinking about such things. But Luke is stubborn and determined to carry out his plan. Soon after, Ashley arrives and is greeted by Luke's parents as they prepare to leave for a Christmas party. Everything revealed that Ashley had been looking after Luke for many years, since he was 8 years old. So Luke's parents completely trusted her with their increasingly rebellious teenage son. Luke's mother reminded Ashley that he had recently shown signs of sleepwalking again, so she needed to place a pencil on his bedroom doorknob to check if he left his room at night. Then she hid the pencil under the doormat. After Luke's parents and Garrett also left, Ashley chatted with her boyfriend, Ricky. Ricky insisted on seeing her, but Ashley flatly refused. Over time, Luke increasingly showed a desire to prove that he was no longer a child. He began playing harmless pranks, gulping down a bottle of champagne to show his bravery and maturity in order to impress Ashley. When Ashley went to the kitchen to deal with the champagne bottle, she discovered the back door leading to the garden was open and quickly closed it. Ricky continued to call her, but the conversation quickly turned into an argument, which annoyed Ashley, and she hung up. Although Luke knew Ashley's boyfriend was constantly trying to contact her, it didn't deter him from his attempts to seduce her. Ashley unexpectedly received a call from the kitchen phone, but there was complete silence on the other end. She ignored it and returned to the living room to watch a horror movie. During the movie, Luke suggested that Ashley shouldn't be dating someone like Ricky, but she quickly dismissed it, reminding him he was just a child. Soon after, Ashley remembered she'd forgotten to order pizza. Just as the doorbell rang, a pizza delivery man stood outside, and Ashley insisted she hadn't ordered it. However, Luke assumed it might have been his father's order, so he took it without thinking. Finally, they both ate pizza while continuing to watch the horror movie. Throughout that time, Luke kept trying to get close to Ashley, even placing his hand on her thigh at one point, which Ashley immediately pushed away, allowing him to rest his head on her shoulder instead. This moment was interrupted when Ashley received another call and stood up to answer it. After the call ended, she returned to sit beside him, and they continued watching the movie for a while longer. Suddenly, Luke lunged forward and tried to kiss her roughly, frightening and upsetting Ashley. She immediately stood up, flatly rejecting any further advances from him. Shortly afterward, Ashley received another call from a stranger who claimed he could observe her. Ashley went to the back window to look but saw no one. She then noticed the back door was open and urgently asked Luke to give her the phone. However, he accidentally dropped the phone into the fish tank. At that moment, the intruder suddenly appeared, and it turned out to be Garrett, who had planned to play a prank on Ashley by scaring her. However, before she could calm down, strange noises suddenly came from upstairs. Ashley grabbed a knife from the kitchen and went upstairs to investigate. Two boys followed her. There, they discovered a window had been smashed by a brick thrown from outside. Ashley tried to use the landline phone to call for help but was shocked to find that the line was completely dead. All three quickly realized they couldn't contact anyone, as even the internet was down. They decided to leave the house in Ashley's car. But this plan was immediately ruined when they discovered the tires had been slashed with a knife. Garrett returned inside and pointed out a warning sign on a brick that warned them not to leave or they would die. Despite this, in a panic, Garrett ignored the warning and rushed out into the yard. At that moment, he was shot by a mysterious assailant and collapsed. In a panic, Ashley and Luke scrambled for cover to avoid the intruder. They decided to hide in the attic while the deranged man was ransacking the house. Luckily, the assailant didn't notice their presence in the attic and quickly left. However, Ashley was startled by a spider and nearly fell from the attic. Fortunately, Luke managed to grab her and save her. Then they both climbed down and immediately went to their parents' bedroom to retrieve the gun hidden there. He led Ashley to another room while the mysterious man continued to lurk around the house. They hid in a closet but accidentally bumped into a toy, causing it to make a noise. The intruder immediately went to investigate while Ashley and Luke held their breath and prayed. Suddenly, Ashley noticed the man had an itch on his back, just like Garrett had experienced before. She remembered Garrett asking Luke's mother about the anti-itch cream when they first arrived at the house. Thus, his plan to impress his crush completely fell apart. This made Ashley extremely angry, all because he wanted to play the hero to charm her. He had pulled off such a ridiculous prank. Ashley stormed off, threatening to call the adults, which only fueled her anger. In a fit of rage, Luke slapped Ashley so hard that she fell down the stairs and lost consciousness. Garrett was terrified by what happened and scolded Luke. When she woke up, she was shocked to find herself tied to a chair with her mouth taped shut. Meanwhile, Luke and Garrett casually walked around the house as if nothing had happened. Luke had given his best friend some illegal substances, making him easily manipulated. Luke confessed his feelings for Ashley despite their 5-year age difference. With a gun in his hand, he forced her and Garrett to play truth or dare. Ashley chose truth, and Luke immediately asked her how many people she had slept with. Ashley said she had never done that, but Luke didn't quite believe her. When it was Garrett's turn, he challenged Luke to touch her breasts. Of course, this was something the young boy had always dreamed of, and he readily agreed. Garrett then suggested that Luke challenge him to sleep with Ashley, which Luke vehemently refused, as he always thought she would be his alone. Ashley then asked Garrett if he knew that Luke had killed his hamster. Such an ambiguous question confused the boy, especially since Luke had previously told him the hamster had escaped from its cage. Garrett became angry and stormed out into the living room. Luke chased after him to explain, and Ashley seized the opportunity to grab a flashlight and try to shine it out the window to signal for help. However, Luke and Garrett quickly noticed, and the flashlight was immediately confiscated. Then Luke forced Ashley to drink something he said would make her forget everything when she woke up the next day. Ashley resisted by knocking over the champagne bottle, shattering it. Just then, the doorbell rang unexpectedly. Ashley tried to shout for help but was immediately silenced. Luke turned up the music to drown out the sounds and discovered the person at the door was Ricky, who said he had come to see Ashley after receiving a text message from her. Luke told Ricky that Ashley was upset and didn't want to see him anymore. Ricky was about to turn away, but before leaving, he asked Luke to pass him the bouquet he had brought. However, as Luke opened the door to receive the flowers, Ricky unexpectedly rushed straight inside the house. In the kitchen, Ashley deliberately overturned a chair to create a loud noise and secretly grabbed a piece of broken glass. Ricky heard a noise and was about to go inside, but Garrett quickly blocked his way, saying he had just found a mouse. Ricky continued shouting for Ashley, and the two boys lied, saying she had a stomachache and was resting upstairs. As Ricky went up the stairs to find her, Luke quickly grabbed a baseball bat from his bedroom and knocked him down. But that blow wasn't enough to knock Ricky unconscious. With his superior strength, he then overpowered Luke, even after being stabbed in the cheek with a pencil. Ricky was about to deliver a fatal blow when Garrett appeared with a shotgun, previously revealed to be Luke's father's hunting rifle. The boy seized the opportunity to knock Ricky unconscious. He was then tied to another chair next to Ashley. At this point, the truth was revealed. Luke had been texting Ricky from Ashley's phone. Garrett was unaware that this was also part of Luke's plan, so he argued fiercely, initially thinking he was just trying to scare Ashley to impress her. But things escalated. However, Garrett eventually let Luke calm him down. Then Luke forced Ashley to call her ex-boyfriend, Jeremy, and ask him to come to the house. When Ashley refused, Luke called Jeremy himself. A few lies easily fooled him, and he agreed to come. Meanwhile, Ashley used a piece of glass to begin cutting the ropes binding her. Her blood dripping onto the floor would arouse Luke's suspicion, so Ricky deliberately urinated in his pants to distract him, forcing him to clean up the floor and take out the trash. While Luke was away, Ashley managed to untie one leg and then untied the other. But things only got worse for Ricky when Luke and Garrett dragged him out of the room. Luke clearly showed his jealousy and inability to accept Ashley having another man in her life. From there, he conceived an even more insane plan for Ricky. Luke went upstairs, tied a paint can to a rope, and dropped it forcefully, narrowly missing Ricky's head. Both he and Garrett panicked, but Luke was incredibly excited. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Ashley had completely freed herself. She went into the living room, grabbed a gun, and threatened Luke not to harm Ricky. But Luke immediately threw the paint can again, hitting Ricky directly in the head and killing him instantly. Ashley and Garrett were stunned, speechless at the horrific scene. While Luke shouted excitedly, Ashley couldn't take it anymore and decided to pull the trigger. But it turned out to be unloaded. She rushed out of the house in despair, but her efforts were completely futile as the boy had already set a trap. With Garrett's interference, finally, Ashley fainted again when Luke threw a brick at her head. He quickly pulled her back inside, strung up with Christmas lights once more, then cheerfully stepped out onto the porch to greet the carolers outside. Garrett, meanwhile, was nearly broken, panicked and irritable, deeply traumatized by Ricky's death and what was happening. Soon after, Jeremy, Ashley's ex-boyfriend, appeared at the door and was warmly greeted by Luke. Luke told Jeremy that Ashley wanted a letter of apology before agreeing to meet, completely unaware that Luke had devised a sophisticated plan to kill him. He secretly wrapped a rope around Jeremy's neck, which was attached to a tractor, and yanked it, hanging him high in the air, brutally killing him. Jeremy's apology, now written, was nothing more than a dying wish. Inside the house, Garrett finally changed his mind after Ashley made him realize that Luke was not a good friend at all, but only used and manipulated him for his own benefit. But tragedy struck when Garrett tried to untie Ashley and accidentally kissed her. This enraged Luke, who immediately shot Garrett, believing he had touched Ashley and shouting that Garrett had forced him to pull the trigger. At this point, Luke believed he had been forced into it and that he was perfectly innocent. Luke fired one last shot to finish Garrett off. After witnessing everything that happened, Ashley was completely devastated and lost all hope. Luke began to tell her about how his mother had cared for and loved him in the past. But then suddenly she stopped, and he didn't understand why. Ashley said she knew the reason, but she remained silent and didn't answer. In frustration and disappointment, Luke stabbed Ashley in the neck, ending her life. With no one left alive in the house, Luke happily went around arranging the bodies and staging a fake crime scene, blaming everything on Jeremy. But as he was about to go to bed, Luke noticed his parents' location was approaching and remembered the pencil on the doorknob. Luke tried to put it back in place but couldn't, forcing him to close the door from the outside and climb into the bedroom through the porch. There, Luke clumsily knocked over some decorations, but ultimately, his parents didn't notice, and the plan went perfectly. Luke's parents burst into the horrific scene and screamed. Meanwhile, Luke pretended to be fast asleep in bed, completely unaware of the terrible violence that had taken place. However, things didn't end there when a medical worker suddenly shouted that there was still a survivor. That person was none other than Ashley. She was incredibly clever, having pressed the tape she was wearing onto the stab wound in her neck, thus stopping the bleeding. Luke froze as he looked out the window and saw Ashley being taken away in an ambulance. Before the movie ended, Luke began to panic at the prospect of Ashley revealing the whole truth to the police. He told his mother that he was very worried about Ashley and wanted to go to the hospital to visit her. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.